probably should say what the actual title.
It's about
Of,
smoke
of
alarms,
this. Yeah,
everyone.
we're talking about the best way to keep your smoke alarm fully
Yes.
charged and ready for all podcast recording abilities. But today we're actually going to be talking about Series 12 because it's Series 12's anniversary this month.
Where has
And
the time gone?
I know, I mean, everything went crap when Series 12
Pretty
ended.
much.
Think about how far we've come since then. Obviously, I didn't know
Oh,
any of you
Jesus.
back
Very
in
true.
March last year. But today we're going to be talking about our improvements we would make to Doctor Who Series 12 in order to improve it. Because for me, I think that there's an awful lot of promise and there's some really great stuff in there, but it does get bogged down with a lot of stuff that, I don't think some of it needs mentioning, like, the way Jodie acts and stuff like that is always saturated, and, the Timeless Children, which is currently partly unexplained and all that kind of things. So
Yeah.
there's obviously the obvious things that you can talk about, but the first one I've written down, and obviously you've got your own note we will get to throughout this, is the marketing is the first thing I've written down.
Interesting, yeah.
And by that, I didn't mean like, the build-up and everything. I mean sort of the mid-series marketing.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So you've got the Twitter posts that happened, I think they were Twitter, that happened twice during the show's run. And the show ran for 9 weeks, which means that, I think I did a video on this at one point, that we got like one every like 2 episodes, something like one every like 4 episodes or 3 episodes, as it worked out to be, which is very annoying. And those comments were things like, you don't want to miss this one, this one's important, you gotta bleed and watch this one. And of course that episode was Orphan 55, which was annoying because it came just after the whole Spyfall thing and the whole Gallifrey's destroyed, and then they went and bloody brought out Orphan 55, and I think that was more of a betrayal, that one, that I felt quite betrayed. And obviously they did the same with episode 5 with Jack returning. And I think that the biggest issue, I'll let you talk about your opinions on it in a minute, but the whole idea of doing 3 episodes to the finale, I think really weakened those middle episodes. Like the finale's approaching kind of thing, all that kind of angle, I think was awful, because it, one, made the finale more pressurized, and it meant that it had to be good, and because it's been promised to us that it would be good and epic, and not just for 1 week or 2 weeks, like while the finale's happening, but the build up from like episode 5 onwards, since Jack arrived, or since Jack appeared, there was always that thing that there was this big epic thing that was going to happen in the finale, and a lot of people thought that was Jack, and I think that's made a lot of letdowns. There was also a mid-series trailer as well just after that Jack episode as well, which I think led into the worst episodes of the series, to be honest, with Praxius. Can you hear me?
Yeah, certainly. I'd agree with you. I think that the marketing as a whole was just really bad. Like, from obviously, but before the series aired, where there was just like nothing there, you wouldn't have known the series was on.
Yeah.
And then obviously, as you said, throughout the series, it was just, I think it just really made the series feel pretty inconsequential, because it was like, oh yeah, who cares about these episodes? The only episode you're really interested in is the finale. And yeah, it just kind of makes all of like the filler episodes, in inverted commas, like kind of feel irrelevant.
It's like they pointed out that they were filler directly, like
which is just,
don't watch these ones.
It's not only like a really weird like strategy to try and market it, but also I think that in other series, for example, some of the quote unquote filler episodes have ended up being like some of the best episodes of those series, like the stories that don't have anything to do with the arc. Like, I think of like Series 4, Science in the Library, Forest of the Dead, has nothing to do with the arc. You could technically call it filler, but it's one of the best episodes of the series. Something like Series 5, for example, something like Amy's Choice or Vincent and the Doctor.
Amy's Choice is like my favourite episode of Series 5.
Exactly. And like something like Vincent and the Doctor as well. Those 2 episodes, some of the best of Series 5, they're nothing to do with the arc, really. So ultimately, like, you get like gems in like within a series, and I feel like just technically trying to like take away attention from those, I think it also kind of really exposes, I think, obviously I know Chris Chibnall isn't involved with the marketing, but I think it really kind of exposes just like the thought process towards this series, where it was just like all in, like very heavy on the arc, which is what they were
Yeah.
really interested in. And it feels like all the other stories, like no one really cared about. And especially you get certain stories, well, this is one of my points. I don't know whether to lean into it here or to maybe cover it later. But one of my issues was that Chibnall's co-written stories, I think all of them, I, I think the problem is with Chris Chibnall's co-written stories is that it's very blatant to see which parts are written by Chibnall and which parts are written by
Yeah.
other writers. You think Fugitive of the Jadoon, I wonder which part is Vinny Patel and which part is Chris Chibnall. It's obvious.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think the problem is it feels like some of the like disposable episodes, there wasn't much attention paid to them, and then also even some of them Chris Chibnall just like completely wrote in to tie it into the arc in a major way anyway, kind of taking away. So I think there was like a big mistreatment of some of those filler episodes, but also just the marketing in general. I think I remember the marketing surrounding Haunting of Diodati was particularly bad because I remember, because obviously because of we knew the Cybermen were going to be in the finale,
Yeah.
and obviously there's the whole Mary Shelley Big Finish thing. So I think people kind of expected, the Cybermen to appear in Haunting of Diodati,
I
but
mean,
it was still up in the air.
it was almost like it was everything but confirmed. I mean,
Yeah,
people
pretty
were like
much.
talking about it like it was happening, but there was no official word that it was. And that
Yeah.
whole thing that you were talking about the mistreatment of arcs and stuff is something that I actually wrote down in my list for later. But
Yeah, so did I.
yeah, you're right with the idea of sort of mistreatment of marketing, with the idea that, I mean, if you remember, this was a long time ago now, but if I think it went from 2019, so obviously there's no series that year,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure that we had in May time the Jadoon reveal, that there was
Oh,
Jadoon in the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
episode, and then it went from Jadoon to nothing to like, I think there was like, and then sort of beginning in November, just like trailer, like there was like two trailers like a week after each other, which is a very strange way of going about it. I think that there's a lot of stuff with Doctor Who and well any TV show is to do with the mood that it's set by. Like you could say, you're just talking about the marketing. It's not really about the show itself, but I think that it is in the aspect that it puts you in the mindset